and welcome to another exciting episode of the Newspaper Review on Tab TV. My name is Sophia John, and I won't be doing this alone as usual. I am with my very wonderful Kosi. Kosi, welcome.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm great. I feel very good.
You look so.
Aww.
I must always compliment you each time I see you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on the show.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. All right, without much ado, we'd like to move over to our newspaper of interest of today. We'll be looking at the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust is leading with a story. Concerns mount over Tinubu's directive on grains. You can find that on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Strategic reserves dropped to 150 tons. That's according to sources. 24.8 million Nigerians risk acute hunger. That's according to WFP and FAO's report. You can all find those stories on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Reversed chaotic subsidy policy. That's on page 17 of the Daily Trust. Davido under fire over offensive videos against Islam. That's on page 18 of the newspaper. Kano loses 2 ex-commissioners in 3 days. That's on page 18 of the newspaper. Ogun student beat teacher who stopped exam malpractice. You can find that story on page 20. Sanwo-Olu approves 61 million naira for burial of 103 NSAS victims. You can find that story on page 7 of the newspaper. That's the last story on the Daily Trust. Ms. Kosi, I would like you to share your thoughts on the story on page 7. Sanwo-Olu approved, that's Lagos State Governor, he approved 61 million naira for burial of 103 NSAS victims. The amount of people that died during the NSAS protest.
That's the one
really
they were even able to get, because I know it was more than that, because if you could remember back in 2020, because this NSAS it actually started on 7th of October 2020, yeah. And on 20th of October, Nigerians, protestants that came, that were protesting against the brutality of the police on the citizens, that was when they came. Then the army started shooting on the unarmed citizens.
A directive that they should stay at home. You know, the protest was getting to a height in Lagos. So the Lagos State Governor gave them a directive that they should all stay at home on that day. So they disobeyed that directive and they
can't just tell somebody to stay at home because it was actually a peaceful one. Just that most of them alleged that it was it was hoodlums that hijacked it, you understand? And it was actually said that it was the government that sent those people, you understand, just to disrupt the peaceful protest. Because if you notice, when it first started, it was very peaceful. People just came out and was protesting against the brutality, the NSAS and all that. It was majorly against the brutality by the police officers and the SARS, you understand. So it was along the line towards that end of that 20th, that was when it started being brutal, because I don't know, for some reasons the hoodlums took it as their own advantage to start looting, to start destroying the properties owned by the government, you understand. But most people said it wasn't actually the NSAS people, it was the Protestants. It was sent by the government. That was what people said. That was their rumors, though, which I really don't know the whole truth. But if you look at it, you see that when it was okay, according to, I don't know who asked the militants to start firing guns.
The military to start
exactly. But they started the open fire. The soldiers, they opened fire and started firing at the unarmed citizens, people who just came out to protest for their rights, for the unfair treatment they are receiving in the hands of the police people, which we all know that peaceful protest is allowed in the country. It's when it becomes violent. But at that moment, there was nothing like violence recorded. It was, they were just protesting. Even most of them were even singing national anthem. Most of them were waving the flags, but they were still shot at. And even because after the whole NSAS and all that, people were against it. Even the international communities, they were against it. So they had to set up a panel in which they will investigate what actually happened that day. And they came to understand, according to a witness in the panel, the witness said that about 99 bodies were moved to morgue, and these soldiers, they had to wipe some of the stains, blood stains, just to prevent the evidence. And also those people, those 99 bodies, that most of them were they died from gunshots, you understand, gun wounds and all that. And on top of it, when they shot them, instead of allowing the ambulance to help those people, those victims, they still blood the way, and most of them died even before they were able to get to the hospital. And you see, it left me with the question, what is the actual role of the soldiers to the citizens? Is it just to protect the citizen, that is to protect the integrity of the country, or is it to also protect the lives of the citizens? No matter what, the duty of the soldier is also to protect the country and also the citizens, you understand. But in a situation whereby the citizens are being fired at, what is the fate of we Nigerians that have faith in the security of the country? What is our own fate now? You understand? And in terms of the Lagos governor, that's Sanwo-Olu, Mr. Sanwo-Olu, I really thank you for that approval. But what's really, like, it took them 3 years for them to realize that, yeah, these people were actually innocent. Even the chief soldier, the army soldier, that's the former chief army soldier, that's Mr. Tokwa. He was even sent to Benin Republic here for diplomatic distance, but many people believed that he was just sent there so in order to avoid the punishment which the International Court of Justice is supposed to be leveled against him for ordering those soldiers to start shooting at the innocent citizens. So if Mr. Sanwo-Olu actually wants peace to prevail, if he actually wants to justify his conscience, I suggest that he should bring back the person that ordered those people to start shooting. You understand?
Okay, yes, because there was also, if I may interrupt you, I'm sorry, the Lagos state government, they came out to say that the bodies they were burying were not actually from the toll gates incident. They were bodies from NSAS. There were people that died during the protest, not people that were at the toll gate that day.
I really, a whole lot of things came up because Nigerians were asking questions. So yes, they can say anything. They can say anything. They are telling you that the bodies they evacuated that day was over 99 bodies, and most of them were gunshots. So the government can say anything just to prove themselves right. You understand? They said it was the body they found different places and all that. Nobody knows the real truth. Even during the witness, the panel investigation, they were able to find out that yes, that this thing actually happened. They were actually fired. The unarmed citizens were actually killed. You understand? So him saying, I don't understand, because if you could remember, I didn't hear any other shooting. It was only that toll gate one that was well known, you understand? So him saying that that he saw those, that the bodies they found was in different places. Nigerians, they can just say anything. The government can just say anything just to cover their own face and to cover their own integrity. But I personally believe that those bodies are from that toll gate, and a lot of people were killed that day. And these people are someone's sister, someone's brother, you understand? But they still came out in mass because they believe in this country, but they were being killed by their own
Their
their
own
own
country.
country, you understand. So my own is that it's only proof that Nigerians lives are still at risk. You coming out to fight for the good of your country is really not encouraged.
If we can recall the horrible picture of our flag,
Was stained with blood.
our blood,
Exactly. So that was really quite
that was a
that was
very bad
quite
attack
a
on the
very bad
citizens
one.
of
Exactly.
Nigeria, on our trust.
Exactly. And if you look at it, now they want to bury them after 3 years of the incident. What actually prompted him to say, okay, that they want to approve the 61 point something million to bury these victims? What actually prompted him? Have you ever considered it? Because they know that they've been found guilty, and in order to kind of reduce the effect of that, because the Lagos government, when the thing happened, they denied it, that nobody was shot. Then what actually made him to approve that 61 point something million just to bury those victims? Have you ever wondered that? So seriously, I really don't understand this country, but it's only God that can save us in this country. So that's my own opinion here.
Thank you very much for that beautiful contribution. All right, let's move on to our next newspaper of interest. We'll be looking at the Daily Sun's newspaper. The Daily Sun is leading with a story on the presidential election. Anxiety grips Tinubu, Atiku, Obi as Judgment Day beckons. Declare me winner with INEC submission. That's according to Atiku. Petitioners to go for adoption of addresses. We can find these stories in page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. NSAS, Lagos confirms mass burial for 103 victims. That's on page 7 of the Daily Sun's newspaper. Obaseki accused FG of abandoning Edo State. There's also a sub-story under that. After viral video shows governor's convoy trapped in flood. You can find that story on page 6 of the Daily Sun's newspaper. FG to prone taxes from 52 to 10. That's on page 2. You can read the details of that on page 2 of the Daily Sun newspaper. CSO asks NYSC to apologize to Mba over allegation of forged certificates. You can read up to on page 26 of the Daily Sun's newspaper. Politicians fueling Christian-Muslim discord, Islamic scholars. That's on page 27 of the Daily newspaper. Why I deserve re-election. This is according to Uzodinma, the Anambra, the Imo State governor rather. Live now unbearable, Afenifere, Middle Belt Forum, ACF and others lament. You can read it up on page 6 and 25 of the Daily Sun's newspaper. That's our last story on the Daily Sun. So, Kosi, I would like you to share your thoughts on this story. Presidential election, anxiety grips Tinubu, Atiku, Obi as Judgment Day becomes. The story on page 6 of the Daily Sun.
Well, my own is every Nigerian is eagerly awaiting this judgment, because it's kind of the future of our kids, of a lot of people. You understand? This is like a very big judgment, and I pray that the judiciary acts independently and prove the right person for this post, because we all know that the 2023 election, presidential election, was marked with a lot of violence, a lot of looting, a lot of brutality and all that. And Nigerians came out in mass to vote for their own candidate, only for the result to be announced, and it was the current president. But we still hope that the judiciary acts independently and blindfoldedly. They should look for the truth and also make sure the truth prevail, because this is Nigeria. We all know how Nigeria is. But I just pray that this time around it will be a very different one altogether. And if you look at it, after the last final, because after the election they've been going to court proceedings, and Tinubu, Atiku,
Obi.
Obi has been presenting, they've been presenting their own weaknesses and all that. And the last final letter they wrote to the court, that's the tribunal. So after that, they are now awaiting for the judgment and all that. If you look at it, ever since then, Nigerians have been having a whole lot of, hearing a lot of rumor. It was first the news about how one of the tribunal resigned. That's Mr. Justice Ugo. He resigned, saying that the democracy of the country is about to be ruined, that he can't be a party to that. You understand? And we also heard another news whereby the Chief Justice of Nigeria had a phone call with Tinubu. You understand? A phone conversation and all that. We also heard another one, how they said the former governor of Port Harcourt, that's Rivers State governor, the former governor, how he went to Spain to have some interaction with some of the people, just for them to prevent the truth from coming out and all that. We have a whole lot of rumors, but all these are just rumors. We Nigerians, we are just, it has not been confirmed. After that of Chief Justice of Nigeria, they've debunked it. Even that of Justice Ugo, they've debunked it too. But my own is that in every rumor there must be some element of truth though, but in all this is still rumor, which we're just praying for God to at least intervene. You understand? Because ever since Tinubu entered, it has been very hard on Nigerians, from fuel subsidy to naira. Like naira and fuel now, they are struggling to who will reach 1,000 naira now, because the fuel now is over 600 and something naira. As of last week, it was over 850, 860. So you see, a whole lot of things has been happening since he entered, and we've been praying, at least let God intervene, because we Nigerians, we are suffering. If you go out, a lot of people are suffering. And now the hike in school fees, they're not increasing the minimum
the hike in school fees, that's
wage. They're not increasing the minimum wage, but they're busy increasing everything. And once there is hike in fuel price, every other thing will start going up. If you go to the market, what you bought at a particular rate won't be the same again. And one thing with Nigeria, once anything is hiked up, is for it to come down, it's going to take the grace of God. It doesn't come down that easily, even though everything must have been normalized and all that. For that thing, that particular thing to come down, it's always hard. You understand? So my own is that whatever judgment the judiciary has to make, they should just do it. They should make it with a clear eye, without any fear or favor. And someone was like that the reason why they are saying all this rumor is just to keep the judiciary on their toes, so that they won't act in the favor of a particular party. You understand? That they are trying to make the judiciary know that the eyes of Nigerians are on them. So whatever they are doing, they should better do it fast, and also do it fair. You understand? So that the reason why they're circulating all these rumors was just to keep the judiciary on their toes. You understand? So my own is, I don't know whether this rumor will actually make the judiciary act independently, but if it's something that will make them, who am I? You understand? But my own, I still strongly believe that Nigerians, we should pray, because at this stage, only God can save. Only God can save us. So we should just pray and wait eagerly for the result, for the judgment, for the last judgment.
Thank you very much for your contribution. We'll be going on a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be taking our last newspaper for the day.
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, Do your voiceovers and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back. This is still the newspaper review on TAP TV. I'm your host, Sophia John. We're taking our last newspaper for today, the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune is again leading with a story on NSAS, Lagos planned barrier for 103 borders. You can find this on page 3. Government says victims not from Lekki tollgate rather. You can find this story on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Heavens will not fall if justice is done, Atiku replies Tinubu. That's on page 22 of the newspaper. MPC Economics warn against further increase in benchmark interest rates. That's on page 7 of the newspaper. NDLEA arrest drug lord in Lagos hotel. You can find this story on page 26. How National Social Register was conceptualized in 2016. That's according to NASCO. You can find this story on page 3 of the newspaper. Fees hike, parents lament way option. Petrol subsidy removal akin to new Naira redesign fallout, says Nigeria. You can find these stories on page 2 of the newspaper. 20 feared killed as fuel tanker explode in Ore. That's on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. Police nab Binisola as attempting to use 9-year sorry about that. Police nab Benin attempting to use 9-year-old son for money rituals. You can find that on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. That's the last story we'll be taking on the Nigerian Tribune. So, Ms. Kosi, can you share your thoughts on this story on page 27? 20 feared killed as fuel tanker explodes in Ore.
Well, I feel that there are a lot of deaths that could have been avoided in Nigeria, especially this one, because I really don't understand. I know the fuel subsidy removal, the fuel increase and all that has made a lot of Nigerians to be very desperate. But the fact that you saw a tanker that had an accident and the fuel started spilling out, and all you could think of at that moment was to go and start scooping it without thinking that what if this explodes? What will happen? You understand? You understand where I'm going to? Because I really don't understand why people will want to risk their life just because of the poverty, because of the hardship in Nigeria. A whole lot of things could have been avoided. You understand? Because this thing that happened in Ore, it's actually when the tanker, it fell, you understand? So the petrol inside started spilling. People started cooping. A whole lot of people were cooping and taking this fuel. Only for someone that has the person got a phone call or something, and you know radiation from the phone call, I don't know how it happened, but it's only a science then that can explain this. But the thing exploded, and a lot of people were burnt. They were roasted. They were roasted alive. You understand? And now those people that are scooping this thing, now you're gone. Life goes on. Nobody will even think. The only thing they'll be like, I'm sorry, your family will be crying and all that. I know things are very hard, but we as Nigerians, as citizens, we should look out for ourselves. A whole lot of things are happening, things that could have been avoided. You understand? Such thing happened. Yeah, I know as a Nigerian that stayed that, and with the hard economy that we are facing now, I know the first thing that would have come into anybody's mind is just to start scooping and all that. But at least think. There's no reason why if you go to a filling station, they will tell you phone calls are not allowed here. Because they understand what this thing can actually do. You understand? So I just feel that this is something that could have been avoided. But unfortunately, they are dead, about 20 people. And this is really someone's kids, someone's son, daughter, and all that. So I am my most condolence to the family, you understand? But I just feel it could have been avoided.
Thank you very much for that beautiful contribution. That's where we draw our curtains for today. Thank you for being a part of our show. My name is Sophia John, and I didn't do this alone. I did this with my co-C. You can also be a part of this show. You can drop your comments on the comment section below. And you can also choose to follow us on all our social media platforms. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we are also on TikTok. So do well to follow Tab TV on all platforms. Meet us same time, same station.